Hey everybody, welcome back. It's time for the November book haul video. Just gonna showcase all the books I found this month from used bookstores and such, and going through the ones I want to keep and some of the ones I'm not too sure about. So please feel free to leave comments and suggestions or anything that you feel I should keep that I'm on the fence about. I'd love to hear, but let's just hop in. Managed to find The Seeds of Time by John Wyndham. I already had a version of this book, but I just like this cover and this condition of it a bit better than my previous one. I really did enjoy reading those John Wyndham books when I did my sort of Halloween episode. So happy to get into it. It's more short stories and stuff by him, but happy to get it. Redemption Arc by Alastair Reynolds. I had this one as well, but it was a smaller paperback size, normal sized book. And I have the rest of the Redemption or Revelation Space series, but they're the bigger size like that one. So I just didn't like having that second book as this sort of different size. It was messing with my aesthetic of the bookshelf. And so I grabbed that one when I found it just to sort of replace my other one as well. I really love the Revelation Space series. She's one of my favorite like world building and authors, and just the settings of his books really do enjoy. I got the book 2 in the Dark Elf trilogy, Exile by R.A. Salvatore. I read the first one pretty recently of the Dark Elf trilogy, just as something different, and I really did enjoy it. I thought it was a lot of fun, and being the Dark Elf sort of settings and everything. So I know there's a lot of books in that series as well now, but I feel like I want to get the first original 3 that was originally planned for it. So just need to find the last one. Oh yeah, so this next batch, I had found this Callahan's Legacy by Spider Robinson, and I just thought the cover was cool and funny and interesting, and it looked interesting. And I've read some of Spider Robinson's short stories just in some anthologies I have. So I picked this one up, not realizing it's in the middle of this Callahan's Saloon sort of series, but just grabbed it because I thought it was interesting. But then since finding that one, now that it was on my radar, I managed to find Callahan's Secret, Time Travelers Strictly Cash. I've heard of this one out of all of them before. I didn't realize it was a part of this series, so I was happy to find this sort of classic one. Callahan's Cross Time Saloon by Spider Robinson. And then this was just another Spider Robinson by Any Other Name. And I think I read the short story or the novella version of this in one of those anthologies a long time ago, but I just saw it with the rest of these Spider Robinson's books, so picked it up and figured I'd give them a go. And then I found just the book 5 of the Elric saga, Bane of the Black Sword by Michael Moorcock. I have sort of the hardcover collection of all of them as well, but I've been finding the little paperback versions of it as well because I enjoy having the paperbacks. So happy to find that one. This one is the Star Wars X-Wing Mercy Kill by Aaron Allston. I was an avid Star Wars Expanded Universe reader, and I had most of the books already. That was the last of the X-Wing books that I needed to find, so I was happy to grab that one. Behold the Man by Michael Moorcock as well. This one I was super happy to find. I haven't been able to find this one anywhere, and it's been on my radar for a little bit. Just sort of this interesting religious sci-fi time travel or some kind of story like that, but I was happy to find that one, grab that one. Valis by Philip K. Dick. Always happy to find Philip K. Dick. You never find him in the used bookstores typically, and I happened a long time ago, I found book 2 of the Valis trilogy just at the Free Book Barn, just sitting on the bottom shelf. So I've had the second one for a while, but I was happy to get that first one of his for that series. The Snail on the Slope by the Strugatsky brothers. same as Philip K. Dick, I never find any of these guys anywhere. So finding this great science fiction masterworks version of this was pretty happy to find. And then this one as well, I never find Christopher Priest, The Inverted World. I've been on the lookout for some Christopher Priest forever, and I haven't found a single thing. And so I snatched this one up as soon as I saw it. And The Language of the Nights, Ursula K le Guin. These are a collection of her essays. And I am interested in Ursula K le Guin's work. I've been enjoying her stuff and just figured I would try. I haven't read a sort of essay collection before and figured I'd give it a go when I get around to it. But my collection of Ursula K le Guin is filling up pretty nicely. So I just wanted to try something different with her and happy to find something sort of unique. This next one was actually recommended to me by somebody on the channel, one of the viewers from the Timescape review by Gregory Benford. He recommended The Proteus Operation by James P. Hogan. I believe it was Sci-Fi Guy recommended it. And so thanks for the recommendation. I always love finding sort of new books and finding new authors that I'm not aware of and sort of just seeing what's out there. And this one sounded like a pretty cool sort of other paradoxical time travel story evolved around Hitler and World War II and just alternate realities and alternate paradoxical timelines being created from certain events being changed. So I thought it sounded really cool. So I definitely was happy when I found that one. Stalking the Nightmare by Harlan Ellison, a collection of his short stories. I've been looking for Dangerous Visions by him forever, and it's just impossible to find. And so I was happy to at least find this other collection of his short stories. I do enjoy him as a short story writer, and so looking forward to sort of diving into some of that. Now, the next bunch I all got from the free book barn in my town with Take It or Leave It books, and a lot of it I think I'm going to keep. Some of it I'm not too sure if they're worth having or keeping. So let me know if something jumps out to you and you're saying, no, read that. That's absolutely great. But it was just this sort of mass. Somebody was getting rid of their science fiction collection, and I just got lucky and showed up on the right day. I know I'm going to keep these first ones. The Road by Cormac McCarthy. I'd read this a long time ago, and I just remember it being this brutal story of a post-apocalyptic journey of this man and his son. And I just feel I read it twice now, actually, but I didn't have a copy of it anymore, so I was happy to grab that one again. Now that I'm a father, I feel like it's going to hit even harder, that book, because it is one of the most like heart-wrenching stories I can remember. But it was I remember it being an amazing story. Vorkosigan's Game by Lewis McMaster, Bujold. This is a hardcover collection of just the War Game and Borders of Infinity, and I have both of those already in paperback. I have a lot of, well, not a lot, there's so many of it, but I have sort of the most prominent ones of hers from that Vorkosigan's series. I haven't actually read any of them yet. I'm not sure if I'm ready to dive into such a huge undertaking for that series, but finding this one, I don't know. I kind of like having the paperback because everything else is paperback, but this just is a beautiful condition hardcover of it, so might be worth keeping, hanging on to. I'm running out of space on my bookshelf though, so we gotta make some cuts. The Swarm by Arthur Herzog. This is sort of old horror story. Swarm of Bees, I believe. I think it might be fun to read. I've sort of been on this kick of horror and bug books and stuff like that, but let me know. Joanne D. Vinge, Phoenix in the Ashes. This one I'm not sure about. I don't know. I couldn't even tell sort of from the blurb and everything. It might be a collection of short stories or something, or following along from her Scion book. I have Scion by her, but yeah, just part of the haul. C.J. Cherryh's The Tree of Swords and Jewels. I might hang on to this one as well. I have some of her stuff already. It's not in the best condition. It's been drawn over and stuff, if you can see on that. I'm not as into fantasy as much, but I've heard she does really amazing things with fantasy, and like I do have some of her science fiction stuff yet, but I haven't read anything besides short stories from her so far. So let me know what your thoughts on The Tree of Swords and Jewels are, if it's worth of a go. And then this bag, actually, there's a lot in this one from the Book Barn I probably will keep. And a lot of really surprising ones in this one. I was super happy to get this sort of haul, but I've never seen this version of Foundation, Isaac Asimov, before. It's not in the best of condition. I'll probably keep my other version as well, but I just thought it was cool finding this one. But that'll get traded in. Definitely keeping this one. Stanislaw Lem's The Cyberad. I have a couple of his already, and you just never find his stuff anywhere. And so to find this in the free Book Barn, it's got a little bit tears on the back, but just sounds like this cool, interesting little story. And he always does interesting things. So super happy finding that one. Let's see if I can find I thought these were funny. I don't think I'll read them, but I just think they're funny to have. Aliens, Alien Harvest by Robert Sheckley, who I know he's a pretty good writer, so I don't know, maybe I'll give him a go. But just these alien sort of book form, Aliens vs. Predator Prey by Steve Perry and Stephanie Perry. Just thought they were funny, cool looking. I don't know what I'm going to do. Probably trade them in. Just I don't see me reading them or having the time to. But Frank Herbert's The Dosati Experiment. I know in that box of science fiction magazines I have, they had the novella or short story for this in there somewhere. So thought it was cool. Thought it was sort of fate finding the novel version of it. And it sounds like an interesting story, interesting read. And like I've only read Dune by him, and I'm currently reading Hellstrom's Hive by him right now. So I'm happy to try some out of his other stuff. I have a lot of the Dune as well, but I just haven't gotten around to reading them besides the first. Oh yeah, see another Dune. I've never seen this cover before. It's pretty beat up, pretty faded and stuff, but I just thought it was this unique, different sort of cover, the different type of sandworm on it. But it's all fallen apart. But I thought it was just cool looking. So I'll try do something with that. The Survival of Freedom, edited by Jerry Pournelle. Just another collection, short stories. I wasn't too interested in this until I flipped through and was looking at sort of the authors, and there's some William Tenn short stories in here, The Liberation of Earth. And I loved Of Men and Monsters by him. Review of that will be popping up real soon. And I enjoyed that book a lot. And so now I've never heard of William Tenn before reading it. He's on my radar now. So seeing that there's one of his short stories in here, I'll definitely read that. Definitely give it a try. There was a fair bit of different things in here. Ursula K le Guin, Pournelle, Larry Niven, Norman Spinrad. Just a lot in this one, but I'll definitely give them a go. But super happy to find that William Tenn in there. Expanded Universes by Robert A. Heinlein. Just a bunch of his short stories collections. I have, as I've said, mixed sort of feelings with Heinlein. And I'm not sure how I feel about him as a writer anymore after reading a lot more of his stuff, but I'll give his short stories a go. I feel like I need to give him the benefit of the doubt and give him more chances. But if you remember from my first book haul video, I was super happy finding the Lilith's Brood series in hardcover at one of the used bookstores. And just yesterday, when I got most of these books from the Book Barn just the other day, and I found another of that hardcover collection of Lilith's Brood by Octavia E. Butler for Xenogenesis, and it's in way better condition than the one I found at the used bookstores. So I think I'm going to trade this one out for that one, and then trade that other one in. But I couldn't believe it. I was looking for sort of the Lilith's Brood for a long time, and just within a couple months, I found the complete hardcover collection of all of them. And I just had to laugh. But Isaac Asimov's Foundation and Earth, hardcover book club edition. I have this one in paperback. I don't really like my version of the one in paperback. It's pretty beat up, and I think the art on it is not as nice. So I'll probably switch it out for this one. And I love the Foundation series. So I haven't read Foundation and Earth yet. It's, I think, the next one I need to read by him in that series. So happy to find this one. The Dark Angel Trilogy by Meredith Ann Pierce. I have no idea what this is. I have never heard of her before as an author. I've never heard of the Dark Angel Trilogy. It was just, once again, a hardcover collection of all three of them. Dark Angel, The Gathering of Gargoyles, and The Pearl of the Soul of the World. So yeah, please let me know if you know anything about this. It sounds more fantasy than science fiction, but it's in great condition, and snatched it up. So if you've heard anything about this one, let me know in the comments. I'll probably hang on to it still, give it a go eventually when I like pepper in other genres in between all the science fiction and stuff I do. I need a break once in a while. But this was The Cosmic Connection, an Extraterrestrial Perspective by Carl Sagan. And I did read Contact by him, and I have Cosmos by him, but I haven't read it yet. And I just enjoyed him as a writer a lot, and it seems like he does a really good job at sort of making the hard science make sense and making. So I figure I might give that a try as well, and see if I can understand it or wrap my head around the ideas in it. I don't typically read the like science fact books, but I thought it was cool to find. And then the last that I found for the month of November's book haul was Alternatives by Michael Pay Q McDowell. Another one never heard anything about. If you know anything about this book, let me know. I'm not sure if I'll keep it. Sounds like sort of along the alternate timelines, alternate universe, alternate dimensions, government organizations trying to do something with these alternate dimensions and things like that. So I don't know. It sounded interesting, and but yeah, let me know if you've heard of some of these books and that I'm not too sure about, and let me know in the comments if you feel like they're definitely must keep, must read. But all in all, I thought it was a pretty good November haul. Give me some more recommendations of books you think I would enjoy or authors you enjoy. I always love looking up and finding these new books, and I love the hunt. It's part of the reason I like doing it and going to these used bookstores and just seeing what I can find. Thanks for checking me out again, and we'll do another one of these in the future. So thanks. Bye.